In VRChat, if you can think of it, it probably exists. Believe it or not, there is a huge competitive side to VRChat. So let's learn about the competitive world of VRChat and its communities. Oh yeah, and also new mic, so hopefully no more sounding like this. Anyways, let's get started. I really like winning. Honestly, I'm a competitive person by nature. But before we continue, are you subscribed yet? Did you like the video? Did you comment? Well, you should. I think I could beat you in just about anything. If you don't think so, you should comment 1v1 me Ghosty Quartz in the comments down below. Or is it because I'm using a male avatar? Hold on, I got you. Much better, isn't it? Throughout VRChat, you can find all sorts of competitive communities. Racing communities, boxing communities, there's even a competitive community for prison escape. But I know just the community to talk to for this video. How chill was that?
That shit looked pretty sick.
The Black Aces is an aviation community in VRChat that does a variety of things, but focuses on dogfighting. To learn more about the competitive nature of VRChat, I spent a day with the Black Aces. I apologize if some of the interviews have a little echoing. Anyways, the first thing I wanted to know was, why VRChat?
I don't think there was a particular reason that we started down this path. We just started in VRChat from what I was talking about earlier, you know, we just saw the planes in here. We're like, oh, what else could we put in here? And we were kind of just like testing possibilities, you know, and seeing how complicated the things we can make. And we just kept doing it for a while, and it got to a point where we were just, you know, we've just been doing it for so long now, we just don't really think very much about branching out into other games. We still do play other games like War Thunder, and we do host like just game nights and events for our community in War Thunder and then in DCS as well. But we just haven't branched out from VRChat, I guess, just because we're just kind of into it now. VRChat just feels kind of like a home now, and so we've just been sticking with it ever since.
Because it's easier to make it in a game like this, unlike something that's like DCS or War Thunder that's got like a solid platform. Like, you're more limited, I guess, on what you can actually throw into that, if anything at all. Whereas this is like, oh, you can create whatever.
It's a very low barrier of entry to get into VRChat.
After seeing a bit of action, I was ready for my time to shine in dogfighting. Before continuing the questions, spoiler alert, I won. Alright. Now I think I'm ready for my 1v1. I'm actually a sleeper agent. I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. And it starts with trying to remember how to start these things.
But I'll at least be able to help you take off.
I don't know what I just did, but we did it. Okay.
Here's the
Okay, right.
So lined up.
So the little canopy. Boom.
Yep.
Okay. And then you go like this. Oh my God, he's gonna die before he even starts. Okay, never mind, we're good. I was shooting at a rock, you know? I thought he was a rock. I'm gonna die before it even begins.
Yeah, put your afterburner on, it'll help out.
My afterburner.
He's being nice with these pop shots right now. Yeah, so
Okay, I didn't, but I tried. What I really wanted to learn about next was how these tournaments were set up and really how many people were showing up to something like this.
The tournaments we usually do on either a monthly or bi-monthly basis. For the last year, it's been a bi-monthly just because a lot of people have been busy. We'll run these tournaments, and we'll usually do them in a double elimination setup, so you'll have a winner's bracket and a loser's bracket. We'll use these brackets for usually 4 or 5 separate qualifier instances. So we basically do that so we can handle larger numbers of people if we have to. Like, our attendance for each tournament or participation for each tournament can vary from anywhere from as low as 40 to upwards of like 130 people in a single tournament. And so we use those multiple instances and multiple brackets to handle that number of people. So first weekend, we'll usually do 2. The first weekend will be, like I said, for the qualifiers, just to, you know, weed out and get the people into the finals. And once we get that done, usually the top 3 or top 5 from each of the prelims will move on to the finals weekend. And that one will usually not have a reward for money, but occasionally we do have a reward for money. And I think a lot of people like that. I think the most recent one, we just did a tournament, and I think first place was $100, and Benjamin over here just won that. So we'll have those qualifiers. At the end of it, we will award people with the money if there is any, and then we will give them like a trophy. Usually we'll have a model of a trophy that's made specifically for each tournament, like a different one every time, every month, regardless, and we'll give them the 3D model once it's done. They get their bragging rights, and then we also evaluate them in our server and kind of give them like an ace pilot rating, which isn't really like the biggest bragging right, but it's fun to say that, yeah, I'm an ace pilot in the Black Aces, I guess, if that's your fancy. And it also just kind of identifies you as someone that really knows what they're doing, someone that you can trust to ask questions about flying, and someone you can refer to teach yourself how to get a little bit better.
I really wanted to understand the appeal of dogfighting and why so many people are competing in it in VRChat.
Because it's kind of like chess. From an outside perspective, chess is just moving little pieces on a board, and it looks quite boring. And it can be the same with planes. It's like, oh, they're just doing circles in the sky. Dogfighting is all of this logic of like, it's just as simple of how can I get my plane behind the opponent, basically. In its most simple term, dogfighting is doing the right turns at the right time. Because if we're dogfighting someone and you go turn, that's not going to go very well for you if you just turn. And so it's all about like knowing the right time to turn and like thinking of the moments. And it's these split-second decisions. You've got to always be like 2 seconds ahead. You've got to always be thinking of, oh, if I do this wrong, what will happen? Or if he does this wrong, what will happen? And that's kind of why it's really fun, because you never know where the fight's going to go. It's a very rare thing in this world to be one of the best at something, or being very good at something. And I think that's why in VRChat it's so competitive, because winning these tournaments is just it's like winning anything. It's just this euphoria. You're just so happy from winning and competing. And like, I also find fun in sharing the knowledge. Like, I've written a book on how to dogfight, which sounds really nerdy, and how to do it, but I just love like that aspect to it, of sharing your knowledge and like spreading it. It's really complicated when you get down into all the intricacies of it. It's just this whole can of worms that you can just keep going and keep learning and keep getting better at. And you're like, oh, one day you're beating your friend, and then he learns something that beats you, and it's like, okay, I need to figure out how to beat this. And you find a counter to it, and then you just go back and forth, working your way up and just getting better and better.
With a better understanding of the appeal of dogfighting in VRChat, I decided I wanted to fly around and see for myself the joy of dogfighting. This is how it went.
These planes will behave a lot more realistically than the ones in the like first world that we were in, for example. Those are super cracked. These will be like a little more realistic, and if you pull too hard, you'll black out. If you pitch down too hard, you'll red out.
Yep.
Alright.
Oh,
whoa.
The disrespect!
You'll never leave spawn. There's one. Oh god! Put me in, coach.
You might want to be careful when flying that plane. It likes to stall out.
Bro, I completely lost tally.
Oh god! No!
Oh!
No!
Brother, that's the ground. You gotta pull up.
No!
Pull up.
I'm trying! No! Okay, so I'm not good at it. Actually, I'm terrible. But I definitely can see why so many people are into this. It was so much fun. What I learned from the Black Aces today was that VRChat is nearly the perfect place for competitive VR. They're right, VRChat has a low barrier of entry. It's a free game that doesn't even require you to own a virtual reality headset. While it has its limitations, VRChat does offer a decent amount of freedom you can't quite get from other games. In terms of competitiveness, everyone loves to win. That's true anywhere. All throughout VRChat, there are tons of people a part of competitive communities having a blast just like the Black Aces here. The best part is VRChat has just about everything. Racing, fighting, aviation, you name it. Oh, and you get to do it as your own avatar, which is also a plus. I enjoyed my time with the Black Aces. It's filled with great people that know how to have fun. I really learned a lot from them and enjoyed hearing their stories, some of which didn't make it into the video, but I'm debating releasing the rest of it elsewhere. With all that said, it's time to see the black aces off. Thank you. I really enjoyed this, and I hope you did as well. If you're a part of any competitive communities, maybe one I didn't really talk about at all, let me know in the comments down below. A huge shout out to all the YouTube members, I appreciate you, and as always everyone, have a great one. Mr. Beast!